I want to get into our two main topics. And main topic number one, we're going to be talking about the Superman and Lois premiere. Spicy, we want to go first?
I took some notes. Okay,
Girl grab a whole notebook. She's like, all right, time for my 2 pages
so
of telling you why it sucks.
I'm gonna turn it up today because I'm mad because why was the quality so good? What's this with this series? Like it visibly looks separate from what we've seen with the DC like CW shows. So I'm really concerned because I'm like, is this gonna be a quality for all the new ones coming out? Like Naomi and I don't know because you said Wonder Girl got canceled. Like, so I'm just like, what's going to be the future of the Arrowverse? Because this series, this could have been with Supergirl. Like, why wasn't this the same quality as Supergirl? Like, it's night and day. Even with the character Superman, Tyler Hoechman's character he's visibly a whole different person than what he was on Supergirl. So I'm just like, what? And they're like, oh, the world needs a Superman right now. It's like, are you doing it because it's Superman? Or are you doing it like because like all the other shows are gonna get a quality boost? I generally don't know, but it seems like they're doing it because it's Superman. So that really pissed me off. The score was amazing. I'm like,
Yeah.
why is this score so good? Like I was really mad. The pacing was decent. The effects were decent. The quality, like I just was like, where is this in the Flash? Where is this and Legends with my girl Vixen? Yeah, like where is this? Where did this magical budget come from with this show? Like I'm just like, I was really pissed because I'm like, why? Why? Okay, I'm calmed down now. I had to get that out because I was just like, why? Um, but yeah, I like the characters. John and Jordan's dynamic is cool, separate. Jordan's kind of irritating. I love John. John fits the whole Superboy. They even call him Superboy.
Yes.
I love that. I was like, yes. I don't believe he doesn't have powers. I think they both gonna have powers. I don't think they're gonna do that. Um, Clark and Lois, they're cute. I like Lois Lane's dad. They have him be the asshole than what he's always been in the comics and everything. So I do like that, but it's a decent show. I like the show. I didn't want to like it, but I like it. So I just hope I see that quality in the other new shows coming up, even the ones we already have. Like just share that wealth with all of the whole DC TV universe, CW verse, because this seemed like a CW show, like Supernatural type thing. Like I was just like, I don't
I
know.
wouldn't, I wouldn't get your hopes up because the budget was so good because they had to make a really good impression because it's the pilot. If the
Yes.
pilot doesn't look good, no one's watching it. I'm telling.
That
And to
very
answer your
true.
question about why you didn't get that Superman on Supergirl, and we've talked about this in
Yes.
your podcast, the reason why Superman didn't look that good, didn't act that good on Supergirl was because the Supergirl formula is to make men look bad to make the women look good. That's
Mhm.
their formula. They brought Superman into Supergirl to make him look weak, just to make Supergirl look stronger. And now they have to backtrack and do all of these different things on the Superman and Lois show, which I'm okay with because I feel like and I hope they realize that they made a mistake and they're trying to fix it. I want to give my quick thoughts and then I'll move on to Sam and then Vash.
Sure.
I think the show is decent,
Mhm.
right? Overall, it's okay. There were a lot of things that I did like. I did like the Lex Luthor introduction. I like that
Mhm.
the show is a post-crisis world where
Yes.
this Lex Luthor came from this other Earth that was gone, and now he comes to this Earth and is going against this Superman. I think that's really, really cool. I love the dynamic between Clark and Lois. I think they actually feel like a real couple, and this is like, in my opinion, one of the best Lois Lanes we've ever gotten. She's a great partner. She is strong. She's supportive. Even though Superman is physically strong, mentally, she's the strong one in the relationship. And that's what you need in a partnership. You need your partner to pick up the slack where you don't have that. So I love their dynamic. The kids, I don't I don't like them because they're a product of the CW. We know in every single episode they're going to be whiny, bitchy teens at the beginning.
Oh
They're
yeah.
learn a lesson in the middle, and then they'll be good in the end. The next episode, they'll be whiny and bitchy in the beginning, they'll learn something in the middle, and then they'll be fine at the end. So I just have to get used to that formula. I like the introduction of Lana Lang and what her character is doing with like the bank and all of this stuff. And whatever agency is buying up all of these properties, I'm curious to find out who that is. I think it's Lex, working behind the scenes. That's going to be interesting. So there's a lot of stuff that this show sets up. So I'm excited for the show. The pilot itself, I thought it was just okay. I like all of the Easter eggs, and we'll get into that a little bit later. But the last thing I'll say right now was the only thing that I don't like is how he looks in the suit. I think he looks absolutely ridiculous. I think he looks worse than Zachary Levi in his Shazam costume. I think he looks ridiculous because when you look at him in his flannel shirt, his chest is not that big, his arms aren't that big, and then he gets into the suit, and then his head looks really small
It's super
on
pads.
this huge body. He looks fucking stupid. But that's my only thing. I think he's great as Superman, but I think he looks absolutely ridiculous. Sam, I'll pass it to you.
Okay, so yeah, so this whole entire series is going after Infinite Earths, and everything is all together into Earth Prime. The thing that, like, I agree with James. I think this episode was decent. Like, it was not bad, but it hasn't fully hooked me in yet. Because usually, like, we were talking about like the first episode pilot shows, like for Flash, Arrow, Black Lightning, Supergirl. It's all about their intro story. This we're gonna skip. We're gonna go just shorten up the beginning, skip all the way to the middle, and like literally go straight into the future where Clark has been Superman for, I'm gonna say, maybe 15, 20 years, and we don't know like what other villains were within that past. We don't know if Lex was in that past either, or if anything. We're just getting straight on family orientated Superman and Lois, or at least portraying some kind of family ties version of a Superman show. And I don't know if it's CW's way of, so we're gonna have Superman shown this way just so we can tell this side of the story of Superman. And it's not that I don't dislike it. This is actually something like a different side of Superman that we've ever seen, going like into fatherhood. Because I don't recall any comic books or TV show where you see like Clark being a whole family man while also saving the day and that sort of stuff. But when you think about that, in reality, it is a struggle to balance of both. You can't be everywhere at the same time. Even someone that's all powerful like Superman cannot be everywhere at the same time, no matter how fast he is. But at least they try. He tries to be. In the moment when he were to flying all the way to his mom, because after he heard that she died, that's what Superman would actually do right away, instantly. Hear everything around his surroundings, like even like if you're like whispering anything, that's what he heard from his mom, like come back home. I think it was really cool. It's actually a really nice way to say like, okay, time to go back into the farm life since you're no longer employed anymore. You're not a reporter like with Lois. You can focus on being a father and being a farmer boy again, like you were in, like if it's Smallville. Like we're literally when I'm watching that behind the scenes, it seems to me like they want to preserve the 2001 version of Smallville. They don't want to like recap it, reverse it, no, nothing like that. Just preserve it as it is, as one of the monument shows where we can watch this show with all its stories and all its drama. We can like use that as reference and look up to it. But instead, in this universe, we don't have any story. We don't have any idea what happens in the middle and the beginning part. We're just all the way into the future, and we have no idea what direction is going. The only same continuity is that Clark's father dies. Clark moves to Metropolis to become Superman and works on a daily planet to meet Lois. That's the only thing that's the same within continuity, and everything else just completely different. John Kent, we all know from comic books, and we've all seen, and he was the Superboy from the comic books and stuff. And now Jordan Kent, a whole completely new kind of like Superboy, I'm guessing from this sort of, but it's different. It's definitely weird. And with CW's formula of when they're creating like a whole drama TV shows, it sometimes turns me off. Like it's a whole like they should have just left the whole high school drama like teenage life
Yes.
story. You're having 20-something-year-olds playing high school teenagers for
Yes.
whatever the fuck reason. And CW loves to do this because they're doing it with Riverdale. They do it for Nancy Drew. They're doing it for all the other shit. They should have just left it at 2017, making that whole Teen Wolf reference from Tyler. Because he was,
Yes.
I'm making that reference. It should have just let it die from that situation of 2017 after Teen Wolf. You're good. You don't need to do it anymore. Do not reboot any more high school shit. You're fine. But I feel like they're gonna use that high school teenager drama shit to fill up the entire show, and I'm really hoping they're not gonna do that. Like they need a good balance of both, which is okay, that's fine. But do not like force feed me with all this teenager drama bullshit and that whole what Jane just said. They're being rebellious. They have to learn this lesson, and then they finally learn. Like, oh god, don't force feed me this. Like, I'm so sick of. I've been watching this for like so much of these shows that's been happening for over 10 years. Let it die. Give us something new. Anything new.
Yeah, man, it's frustrating when you know the formula. Like you see it instantly. Like one of my biggest issues with like the Flash was just seeing that formula with Wally West and with Jesse Quick
Yeah.
and with Nora. It's like it's the same shit, bro. Like they're super annoying at the beginning of the episode. They learn something and then they're not annoying at the end, and then it just repeats constantly. And you know we're gonna get that on this show, and I'm okay with them skipping all the in-between stuff. Like that's things that we know about Superman and Lois that we don't need. Like I am interested in this family element. It is something new, like you said, Sam, that we haven't really seen that much on TV and in movies. And it is really hard to balance being Superman, being literally the savior of the entire planet, while being a supportive father and husband. So you brought up a really good point, and that's something that I'm really excited to see that this show does. But Vash, I want to toss it to you.
So I did my research while you guys were talking. So the show has 15 episodes. That's why it has more aesthetic and better budget. Because when you have 23 episodes, like Flash and Arrow and some other shows on CW, like Supergirl and everything, you have less budget per episode. But if you're 15 episodes, you're like Legends of Tomorrow and Black Lightning, where it looks better in aesthetics, animation with the CG, and with the whole superhero aspect. And the actor that plays Jordan is 16, and the actor that plays John the Cat is
I
19.
thought they were starting high
19.
school because the whole football team and stuff like that. Because
No.
Actors.
I'm talking about the actors in
Okay.
real life. I'm talking about the
Jordan
actors
looks
in real
like a
life, Sam.
baby. When we look at him, I'm like, he looks like a little cute little boy you
But-
see at school, or he's
but-
like, okay.
That's one thing I'm happy that they're actually around their age, the same age they're acting. Because like we saw, like Sam mentioned, Tyler Hoechlin and the other kids, like for example, in High School Musical, most of those actors that were playing 16, 17-year-olds in high school were actually like 25, 27, 30. I'm like, when I did my research, I'm like, wait, yeah, we're playing high school kids, and yeah, we're like 10 years
Monique
older
was
than
like
yeah, we're supposed to
32.
play.
I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. I'm like, damn, yeah,
black don't crack.
yeah, we're close to past.
next thing you
It's
know,
true.
some of them are
And the-
parents too. I was like, oh.
And plus with Tyler Hoechlin, when he did Teen Wolf, he was 23. So I'm like,
Still fine.
it's like, wait, you're 23, like still good looking and everything. But to know now that he's playing Superman and everything, to add to what James was saying earlier of how his suit looks, I agree. His suit with those super pads on him, my dude looks horrible. But the aesthetic of the suit looks amazing though. I wish
Yeah.
they just slim down the super pads and just go better with it. Because I'm like, I agree. I texted in the group chat to James and Sam and plus Spacey. He looks good when he looks with his shirt, his button down and everything, with his suit. My dude looks brick, looks nice and diesel. I love it. But then when he go to your super suit, and I'm like, why do it look like you just gained like a whole rock suit, like an extra type of 50 pounds? I'm like, yo, my dude, like tell her, like, I met you in person. You look good in person. But you do not look like the Rock in person. Like there's no way you go into that. So I do agree with what James said. I just wish they slim down because the aesthetic of that new suit looks better than any of the suits it is. And I see the type of resemblance they try to play to our boy Henry Cavill because it looks so much almost like Henry Cavill's suit, but it has the CW type of vibe. So I like what they try to, hey, you know, you guys will get a Superman movie in the future, but for now, just have this nice aesthetic suit in the meantime. The CG type of VFX the fight in space and then go to China looks way better than I thought. It felt like a movie type of vibe. It looks like TV type of budget, but looks almost like a movie budget. So I could tell why it was so short, that fight with Captain Luther, and it was entertaining. I was like, yo, this looks actually good. And this was watching me on my phone, like on my phone quality. So I'm like, oh, this actually looks very entertaining. So I was very proud of that. And to add about the whole TV episode pilot aspect, I enjoyed the chemistry of Lois and Clark and the whole Superman, because that's what were my favorite comics, of him to know how to balance of being a father, a husband, and a hero. That is very hard for any type of parent than to choose a hero, but to know how to balance that as a worker, to know how to balance a husband and as a father, that's our biggest task because you're busy. And to know that Clark and Lois talking about like, hey, you should have listened to me. You should have told the kids much younger. And also the kids to notice, hey, I've met Superman. I've seen him. I'm like, if you have met him, how do you still not know that's your
And that's
They
father?
have their
pissed-
mama's eyes. They
That's
have
what
their
pissed
mama's
me off.
eyes.
That's what pissed me off. You mean to tell me you don't know who your daddy is? Your dad's like the Beyonce of superheroes. How do you not know your dad's Superman? Does see me tell me this man Clark comes home from saving the world and has to pretend to be Clark Kent in his own home? You can't just be you can't. Why?
So
Why?
many
You-
excuses of saying
and
that.
there's-
Oh
and
my
there's-
gosh.
There's no way the kids are not like hearing through the doors or hearing through the kitchen. Like, oh, I've been a kid, and sometimes I eavesdrop my own parents, and like they don't even know. So there's no way these kids
Like, why is
were
Uncle
whole
Lane
goody
always
two shoes.
coming to our
No,
house every day to talk to dad? Does no one notice that? Like I don't know all this gear stuff
Like,
and
there's-
classified
like-
information. Like, why is it just doesn't make I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I did not believe it. I was like, there's no way. No way.
That's kind of the reason why like I have a small problem with them skipping the entire middle, because I would have loved to see more of the romantic relationship between Superman and Lois, because we know like Superman has saved Lois plenty of times, and then throughout the relationship, even although Lois still didn't know during that time that Clark was Superman and stuff like that. I would have wanted that at least.
I think we get that a lot in all the movies, and I'm kind of
Mhm.
like tired of the whole like saving Lois Lane type thing.
But-
I
I
get
get
how they've
that.
been changing her like.
I get that, but like
dynamic
with
type.
Lois,
one
I love it when she's like technically her own boss. She's really sassy. She's actually very more powerful. I felt like during at least give her this time, she should have like lead the whole Daily Planet herself. Like she actually is
Yeah.
the boss of it by then, because this
I
is
agree.
portraying the future. I would have at least see like Clark doesn't work in the Daily Planet anymore. Perfectly fine. But at least I would have seen Lois as running the Daily Planet as the head chief, but she still goes out to be a reporter. Like she goes around the world to report these kind of news, like the dangers and stuff, because she
'Cause in
believes what's
Supergirl,
right.
they even said they're like Lois Lane's like this top boss, like she was
Mhm.
moving up, like
Yeah.
she was on like the top magazine. So they made it seem like she was like high up, almost like executive level. So like to like what's her name? Who was Supergirl's boss? Like her level status. Like
Cat.
Cat Grant, like she's making stuff. They're on
Um,
that same like executive type level. So for her to just be still a regular reporter, I was like, okay, so are we pretending Supergirl doesn't exist? Like, are we just not gonna forget about that or what? Because
But what bothers me is that they never fixed the continuity, because if you remember what happened in Infinite War Crisis, when Superman was flying back because he went to say bye to his cousin, when he's flying back, he spoke to his wife, and then when she said, "Oh, the twins are asleep," so that means that he was thrown off, because when he left before Crisis, he knew that he had one kid, and then after Crisis, he found out he has two kids. I wish that they addressed that too, because that was something that should have been addressed at least in the show, at least a flashback. Like at least in the beginning of his monologue, he should like, oh, I once had one kid, but because of a mistake that us heroes made, we now have two
Like
kids.
in
I wish that was
Arrowverse?
I
addressed.
mean,
Yeah,
I feel like it's implied. I feel like you didn't need to waste screen time doing that, because we already know what happened with Diggle. Like we spent
yeah, I was yeah.
with that happening with Diggle. So it's like seeing that happen now, it's like, oh, that's because of Crisis, or because of, well, it wouldn't be because of Flashpoint, but it
No.
would have been because of Crisis. You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
I feel like it would have been wasted dialogue to do that.
Sure.
But I see, to your point about them like not knowing their dad is Superman. So when Jordan was playing Injustice, which I thought was really
Yeah.
cool,
I did like that.
Yes.
that
when he
was
said
funny.
that Superman was lame, I was like, is he saying that because he's upset with the fact that he knows his dad is Superman, and because his dad is never around, he said that he was lame in front of him to like hurt his feelings or something. And then we realized that that's not the case, and he really didn't know. Superman has been in newspapers. These kids have the internet. How do you not know that Superman's your dad? It's so stupid. It's like I thought they would have gotten away from this in at this point in time. They would have gotten away from the whole Clark Kent glasses thing. I'll take them off and now I'm Superman. Like, are you kidding me?
The zoom in
So,
for me.
so question: did you guys notice that when they were doing the reveal to his sons that he's Superman? Did you notice the whole camera shots of him taking the glasses? Like, oh my god, this is the big thing
I think
coming.
I think that was
Glasses.
like a
And
troll. I felt it was a troll. Like, look, we're doing this
Well,
again. Like
well,
you're doing this trope, guys. Like, like you remember.
that was the point for the whole camera, like showing the whole glasses thing, because that like his their mom even said like, oh, it took me a while to also notice that that was that he is Superman and everything, and he had to pick up the car just to show them proof. I'm like, you could have just shown some type of super
Which is
speed.
something I've always called like bullshit on. Like Lois Lane is a Pulitzer Prize winning reporter.
Mm-hmm.
This woman is highly intelligent, fearless, and you're trying to tell me that you worked with this dude while simultaneously dating Superman and doing reports on him, and the difference is glasses? That
I do like I said, I like Colonel Lane. Colonel Lane has the most sense of everyone because he's like, I told you, you want to get married, but we need Superman. So if you want to play house, the world needs this man. So you want to have your little kids and everything. Now you got to deal with the consequences. And I like that because she was like, I get it. When you're a mom, when you have a family, I understand the aspect and that's enjoyable. But I don't like that pressure you're trying to put on Clark like that. Like, what do you want him to do? Like, he can't just check out. Like, you kind of something he heard them like, oh, it's another power plant. Like he was like checking out. Like, I don't want to go to work today. And she was like, okay, go. I'm like, first you're yelling at him to be around more, which I get. But you knew this. Like, you married, like he said, he was like, you thought you married Clark. You married Superman. Like, we keep forgetting that. You married Superman. This man is Superman first. Like, Clark Kent, his alter ego. He is ultimately Superman. He's an alien. So I just didn't like. There's just a lot of little plot holes where I'm like, is that believable? Like, but.
so to that point, right? It bugged me too because she has this one line of dialogue that I really respected, and I'm glad that they wrote this into the show, where she says, "The world will always need Superman, and you will always be there, but right now your family needs you." And I'm with that, right? Like his mom just died. There's a lot going on with his kids. That was not the right time to leave. But at the same time, it's like, yeah, but hundreds of people, thousands could potentially be dying. But I'm okay with that because that's a very human response, right? Like she knew what she was getting herself into, but in those moments, she's still a human being and it's still frustrating. But in other parts, like you were saying, Spicy, like she still has these complete, like unrealistic expectations of like what he has to do as Superman. Like, do you not realize that there is someone out there that is as strong as me, can move as fast as me, that's attacking nuclear power plants? We can deal with this family shit a little bit later. Thousands of people could die.
Metropolis getting destroyed and everything. Yeah.
Radiation and nuclear fallout. Like he has to make these sacrifices, and you have to be okay with it. Like,
now our family's dead.
To add as well, so out of this whole storyline and concept, my favorite was the Clark and Lois with Jordan, knowing about anxiety and everything. So I love how they push on that because that's something that a lot of TV shows don't do. But the whole concept of the kid actors of Jordan and Jonathan, like I wish it was a CW trope. And also it's shocking that like they're not, CW is more known to hire good looking actors and actresses. And when I see Jordan and Jonathan, like, yeah, like not
they're
that good looking to be
adorable. I
playing.
think they're adorable.
No, they're adorable. I don't know. It's like when I met them, like I guess I give you a pass. I guess
No,
like
yeah.
are cool. I guess like it's like I expected more. And like when they said Jonathan Kent don't have powers, I'm like, if y'all don't give this boy powers, I'm gonna be dumb tight, because this boy from the comics, the Jonathan Kent, that's his son. Jordan Guy is just a brand new character. So if y'all give him powers, y'all better give Jonathan. And I was mad. It's like I wish y'all just did the trope of Jonathan Kent or Connor Kent. I would have been fine with that. But when you just give him a whole new name, Jordan Kent, like, are you trying to give shine to
No.
Michael Jordan, or like what is it, or it's just Jordan Kent? Like, what was the reason for the name? But I would prefer Connor Kent and Jonathan Kent, because that gives more to the lore of the comics, and then maybe we have some type of connection to Star Labs and more to Lex Luthor. But I'm really curious to know what the storyline is, because with what I said earlier, this is 15 episodes. So I'm curious to know what is going to be for the storyline for the next coming months for these characters, and what are they going to do with Smallville. And is what James said earlier, is Lex Luthor buying all the property? Does he know that what's going on with Clark Kent and slash Superman? So what is the bigger deal? And with Captain Luthor, what is he gonna be in this portray? Because he knows everything about the whole lead, the whole speed and everything, and he's getting stronger. He's gonna build more speed and everything. So I'm very interested in this character as well. And plus the actress, very tall from what it seems. So I'm very curious to know.
So to help answer some questions, I think what the reason why they put Jordan, because you know, like Jonathan Kent is Clark's human father's name, Jonathan Kent. Jor-El is Superman's real father from Krypton, so Jordan Kent. I think that's what they were thinking of, just so that they have the first three letters of their name and stuff. So Jonathan Kent, John Kent, Jor-El, Jor Kent kind of thing. I think that's what they were trying to come up with Jordan Kent, that sort of thing. I think the reason why they didn't give Jonathan Kent the powers first, because I think it would have been too easy. Because remember in the entire narration, Clark said that like John was so easy. He was like the football team. He was like the very popular guy. He had so much confidence. He had so much football skills. But Jordan was a struggle. He was like they were like both polar opposites from each other. And it's where like where Jordan has like anxieties. He's struggling from social anxieties, and now he has his superpowers to go with. He had to take pills to help like calm him down mentally. I think it's just to cause more drama and more like difficulties, because like it had been so much more easier. You give the whole a new Boy Scout his own superpowers and whatever story you want to come up with. But I think it would have caused more drama if you give it to the polar opposite of the personality of what Jordan Kent is into of John Kent is into Jordan Kent, and give him the powers and make him go through the whole entire responsibilities of a superhero, maybe that he doesn't even want to be a superhero. It gives you perspective and an idea of an opposite is what I got from watching this first episode.
So I think they're just blending a bunch of different stuff from the comics, right? Because John was also, a Superboy in the comics as well. And Superman, in depending on what you read, he did have twins. He had twin girls at one point. It's just, I think they're just mixing a bunch of things together. And I actually think that John might not get powers because it's easy drama for the show.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's easy drama to try to tear the twins apart, because I feel like eventually John will get jealous that he doesn't have powers. And it'll also drive a wedge between John and Clark and Jordan, because they can bond over their abilities and he'll feel left out. I feel like that's drama that the CW will definitely build on. So I actually don't think that John will get powers.
It's that, but I feel like that's like the go-to formula these shows do, where it's like, like this is the obvious, but we're gonna go obvious in a different route. As soon as he said the night terrors, everything, basically all of the things, that's all of, like, the burdens of superpowers that Superman has on a child. Like that's easy to do. And I know Lois, like, oh, your anxiety doesn't have anything to do with your powers, but it does. Night terrors, you can hear people's thoughts, you can hear people all across the world. That can mess with your mental, your like that's yes, I knew. I'm like, yes, Jordan has it. Like, I knew it. That's just, you just know off the bat. You just know, like, that's they want to go in that direction because it's easy, and it's like, it keeps people like, oh my god, oh. Like, it's overused. It's so overused.
And plus, his personality reminds me a lot of Connor because Connor
Yes.
has anger,
Yes.
anxiety because he doesn't control his part because he literally just
A
came out
newborn.
of being made. So newborn and everything. And technically, Jordan is going to be in that realm because he technically has been having these powers, but he never knew about it, like knowing just night terrors, anxiety, and everything. So I'm curious to know how they're going to tackle it. Hopefully they continue the aesthetic, and I agree with what Spicer said much earlier about the score. It looked fucking beautiful.
So
It had the smoother
good.
aesthetic and everything, and hopefully they continue it because it's a 15 episode budget. And if they continue 45 type of minutes now, because they said a 2 hour premiere, but it was dead as an hour, but most likely with a short premiere, so much commercials, most likely. But overall, love the score, the aesthetic, the way it was shot, the film, and everything. But hopefully they continue with this type of budget in each episode of the pilot. And I came to see what they bring at the end of the day. And I just want to add my favorite line, not the best line, but my favorite line because it was just funny to me. You may have been sent here to be a hero, but for sure you weren't sent here to be a father. That was my favorite line. It
I'm
was
here,
not great, but it was
River.
just funny as hell.
Oh, good Lord. It's so annoying.
Yeah, it's so annoying, and it's only in there to force drama
Mhm.
between
I
the
didn't believe it. I'm like, okay.
because I mean, to a degree, he's right. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, Superman has prioritized saving the world because that's what he knew. You know what I mean? And now that he has these kids, he has to switch up his mindset. And I'm okay with it because this is their attempt at humanizing Superman,
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
but I just have a problem with the CW lens. They
Same.
just push way too much drama for no reason, and it's
Hmm.
really frustrating. But I want to move into WandaVision, so I want to get you guys final thoughts on Superman and Lois before we move on.
So I want to say Lois is more towards the whole mom aspect more than her reporter aspect. Because instead of like you see a little bit of it, it's like let me do some research about this bank real quick and like how come like uh Clark's mom had to do the whole loan and everything, the bank forgiveness and all that stuff. She usually could just do this by herself really quickly and all that stuff. She does it on her own, but instead she plays more towards the mom like aspect because I'm gonna say like we're gonna use the Lois Lane's childhood where her father was all military, only to train her like literally full on military, barely a father at all, and she's trying to make Clark like a better father than her father ever teached her, even though the captain, the lieutenant, like Lois's father, actually likes Clark. He actually likes that he's a Boy Scout and all the Superman and stuff like that. And it's like because you could tell, you're like maybe you could take Jordan and John and Jordan out fishing and stuff. He tries to be a grandfather, but he wasn't a good father in the beginning of her life. Which I get her where she's coming from in her actress role, but I wish there was more towards her reporter role where she does the work. She's her own boss and she will do everything onto it.
Well, I think that's why they're doing the whole buying up of the loans is to keep her busy as Superman
Yeah.
does Superman stuff
Hmm.
and train, and the kids do their crazy kids stuff. Superman, she does her reporting stuff, like to just keep her busy, like the multiple like PVs, I guess. So it's like,
Yeah, I mean, Lois will definitely have her thing. We just have to wait for more episodes, right? Like
Hmm.
this was just a pilot. We'll get more of her because she will be doing the bulk of the investigation,
mm-hmm.
all of this mortgage stuff, like you guys were saying. So I'm very excited for that. Again, like I really like the actress. Like I think she does a really good job as Lois.
Hmm.
Their dynamic, like that is the one thing that they hit perfectly. Like I think their dynamic is even better than Henry Cavill and Amy Adams.
Yeah,
Honestly,
I agree.
their dynamic, their relationship,
Yeah.
the bond between Superman and Lois, it's way better. But of course, they've had technically more screen time too. But I just think that the writers for the show just has more insight into what that relationship is supposed to be, and I prefer it. Vash, do you have any final thoughts?
Me and James will be talking about it week to week. Depends on if we're entertained. It depends that if it's actually good to bring some type of discussion, and hopefully it gives us an entertainment value. That's the most important thing. That if the show is at least on par, to at least give us more lore and move the story along. And plus with CW, I just have some hope. I guess I'm just Superman from Captain from the Last Son of Krypton. I have hope. That's
Actually, real
all.
quick, we had like was Superman always able to touch kryptonite and pull out the needles and shit, like, or whatever shank that Lex Luthor always stabbed? That's whatever he did to stab him with it.
So
He
Okay.
could pull it out. He's just in pain.
Thank you.
He's just in
Okay.
agony pain. Like it hurts. He just takes a bit to get back up. That's why he took it out and threw it. I don't know where he threw it because he just literally went shoot. I'm like, you do know somebody else could just grab that, right? And he just about to land on some type of China
Yeah,
type
they
of
used the
concrete.
whole like I think they were trying to make it as a China aspect, but it was like it's really San Francisco with the whole tower. Literally used the whole poof, he got thrown into like a whole souvenir shop of all the Chinese aspects and stuff like that. Yeah, that sounds like a whole old school movie, like just to throw a character into it just so it causes disasters and stuff, and it comes out. That's
Yeah.
it.
I want to know where Luthor is going to find the rest of this kryptonite, because if you remember from the trailers,
Yes.
he has like a briefcase like full of kryptonite, but at the end of the pilot, they said that that was the last sliver of kryptonite that he had. So where does he find it? Like, does more kryptonite show up on Earth post crisis? Like, because we know that some people ended up on Earth Prime, but maybe other things in the galaxy are changed. So I don't know. Maybe he finds like some like crater somewhere and
Mhm.
finds some more kryptonite. Who knows? That's something that I'm really interested in. And I'm mainly interested in this Luthor character. Like I feel like just that little glimpse that we got, I feel like he's going to be a really cool antagonist. The ice breath, the laser beams, none of that stuff work. His super strength, none of that stuff works. So I thought that was really cool. And if he's going to make an even more advanced version of that suit, oh man, I can't wait.
The knowledge too, like lead, you can't see through lead, and that's why I know everything about you, Superman. Like, okay, incredible, cool. This is the Luthor that we actually ever wanted in the whole live action show for sure. So I can't wait for that.
Yeah, this
him being more paler than usual is a little weird though. Like I think his entire head, like his after he took off his helmet, he looked like a Brainiac white kind of thing.
Really? He looked dark skinned, but I
I look
couldn't
like a black
tell.
dude.
Really? No,
Yeah, but I was saying, Sam. I was saying that looked like a black dude. I'm like, Sam, you sure you saw that correct? Because that person looked black.
I was watching on TV. I was like, wait, what? Like, how come? I thought, like, for sure, like, was it supposed to be Brainiac or something? Like, oh no, it's Luthor. Okay.
Spicy. Yeah, Spicy. You saw a dark
No,
skin
actually,
too, right?
I thought he seemed like, I don't know. I thought he was bald. I just saw the baldness.
Yeah, the
Oh,
bald part
bald
is
white
fine.
man.
Yeah. Yeah, bald white man. Exactly. That's what I saw too.
All right, so we have two white men or two black men. Who knows? We'll find out next time on Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, but this Luthor seems very Thawne-like.
Mhm.
On his Earth, they've been doing this for years. He's been fighting Superman for years, and this Superman has no idea who he is. So I think that's really, really cool that they have this dynamic that he's going to go up against a villain that knows literally everything about him, and he knows nothing about Luthor. So that's going to be really, really cool. All right.
The
So,
advanced technologies too that he has and everything. It feels almost futuristic as well.
yes, very futuristic. So I can't wait to see where he got this this tech from, because I feel like the tech is very Kryptonian too. Like when I saw his ship, I was like, could that be a Kryptonian ship?
I didn't want to ask. I didn't want to like speculate too much. I was like, is this gonna be the Lex Luthor Brainiac combination that we had in like the animated series kind of thing, where you have technically Brainiac's all of world knowledge with Lex Luthor's incredible smartness and together. Maybe that's why we saw the whole like white and then we saw the black ball guy. Everything. Speculating. But yeah, let's move on to WandaVision.